So because we are having only one user within this directory that we are having, we said we cannot allow the user to access files or directories from another user. So it means one user can access this directory at a time. So allow me to maybe use a whiteboard. So we said, if this is the directory, if this is the directory that we are having, so we can have directory maybe A, you can have directory B, you can have directory C, you can have directory D. So in this case, we said we can have a file here, we can have another file here, we have another file here, and we have another file. So in this case, whoever is accessing this file, maybe file 1, cannot access file 2. So one file at a time. So it's like you have your own computer, but you have only created one directory that you can only access your files, but nobody else's file. So that is what we call a one-level directory. But we said one advantage is easy to implement. Remember, we don't have much to implement, so we only have few that we need to implement all that. But in a two-level directory, I remember we said this is where now we can allow users. So you can have user 1, maybe you can have user 2, maybe you can have another user here, maybe user 3. So in these users, you can create directory of your choice. Maybe I can have A, I can have B, then I have a file. The same case to this, where you can have your own directories, and this maybe can have B, then this one can have C. So in this case, the only disadvantage that we have is that we were not able to share files in those levels. So each user has its own directories, but now we have tried to improve on adding more directories. So in this case, we have repetitions. We have repetitions of directory because this master directory is able to work with the different levels of directory. So that is why we say that when you are using the two-level directory is more pronounced rather than when you're using what you call the one-level directory. So in this case, we find that we have tried to improve the access. So what comes in this is what you call scalability of files. So we have scalability of files. So files can be scalable, meaning you can be able to create some interchangeable way of communication. Then when you look at the other, we said we have what you call the tree. And in a three-level directory, there is where we said, yes, we can have these directories, but this directory can also be called files. So in this one advantage, allow efficiency, allow improvement of the file access, improvement of the file allocations, and many others that we have. So maybe this one you can have A, B, maybe C, D. So in this case, another advantage is that we are allowing what you call creation of a subdirectory. So in this one, I can have a subdirectory here. So this is K, and maybe this is L, where this one can have a file, and this one can have a file. And this one can have a file from this point. So in this case, we are trying to improve in file access. We are improving on scalability, we're improving on efficiency, and still, we can try to allow what you call sharing of files. That is what you call the three-level directory. But the only problem that we have is that we don't allow sharing of files. So we can have what you call duplications. There are duplications of files. And that's why we went to what you call the acyclic. And in acyclic, this is where we were looking at a point where maybe if I use this, maybe instead of having this file, we can have this file that is sharing with this. So this directory is sharing some files of directory L. So in this case, there is what you call sharing of processes within a given time. So that is what We were supposed to understand about that, and that becomes very easy for you to interpret that when we are using such a scenario. Maybe I can look at the question that we have, maybe concerning your question that you filled. Maybe we have this. The following are algorithms used in memory management except memory management algorithms. We said, oh, I think I need to share that. Can you see this? I'm sharing. Can you see this question?
No.
That's the issue with the, maybe I need to share again. So that is the question that I'm talking about. I think you can see now. The following are algorithm used in memory management except. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So in this one, we have optimal. Optimal is one of the memory that is mostly used, algorithm that is mostly used. First come first is still used, but scan algorithm, can you remember the scan algorithm where we were dealing with the device management? So that's why we said this one cannot be used in device, in memory management. And that's why we said this is not an answer. So for this one, Kimandi, you failed because you indicated the algorithms that are mostly used on a memory management technique. Then the next question that I would like to share concerning the same question. I'm looking at now the maybe, hey, there are some other questions that you filled here. There are many of them. I don't know whether we can see the questions. So I think we can review the question, the whole question. Let's review the whole question.
Okay.
So I think we can review the whole question or the whole paper. So can you see that now?
Yeah.
So I think everybody scored this, was not having an issue with this question. And the following are, I think this one is not new to you. So the answer was 3.7. That was okay. But now we have this question. Mackenzie, a semester one student was told by his operating system teacher to identify the algorithm used in input-output management, and he gave out the following. Remember, turnaround is not an algorithm. That is a criteria that is mostly used to improve program executions in an operating system or process execution in an operating system. Frequently used, this is a memory management technique. We have recently used, frequently used. Round robin is mostly used in an algorithm, is an algorithm mostly used in process management. And the basic importance of this algorithm is to always create what you call time slices or quantum. So in this case, we can create different sections of executions. And that's why it is mostly used in process management. But look algorithm is the one that is not used in, this is the one that is mostly used in device management. And you can remember what we said about these algorithms. One of them, we have the scan algorithm, C-scan algorithm, first come, first serve algorithm, look algorithm, C-look algorithm. And we can include another one like clock algorithm, which uses program counters in process execution. Mostly when you're looking at now devices. Hope we are together up to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so the next one, information can be defined as a processed information that is meaningful to users. A processed information that has no meaning to users. a process data that is meaningful to users. Now, we cannot define a process, an information with the same name. So that was just a mistake for you now to try to think, how can I define this information? So we cannot say that a processed information. We say a processed data that is meaningful to users. So the answer was C, because now it is data that you convert it to be meaningful to the users. I think that is not very new to you. Then the following are two process model. There are two process model, and there are transitions that you always have. There is a process model and there is a process state. So a process model is composed of two. A process state is composed of 5. So that is the diagram that you always come up with that allows you to draw some presentations. So the following are two process model. One, not running, ready. So ready is part of the process state. So that one is on one out. Running, not running. So this is the answer. Where ready and new, these are in process state. Running, ready is in the process state. So the answer was running and not running model. Running and not running model. So I think this one was okay. Mr. Kamau was accessing some files he created on Ms. Wako's computer and found that the file was interrupted. As an information technology specialist, I advise Mr. Kamau what he should do to avoid such a mistake when creating a file in somebody's computer. Now, this is what we say brainstorming. You brainstorm in your own way of thinking. Provide a password, that was okay, all of the above. So change the password for the computer. So if you change the password of your computer, somebody's computer, and it's not your computer, that is very wrong. That is unethical. Change the hard disk to avoid loss of data. Now, when you change the hard disk, you change everything. So you have not rectified your problem. So that's why the answer was A. Provide a password on the file he created. Then the next question was, what is the correct definition of a program? I think that one is very clear. Set of instructions, so that one I cannot explain further. 3 types of scheduling except. I think this one is not new, because when you look at in process management, we look at 3 main scheduling algorithms. Not scheduling algorithm, types of scheduling. One is long-term, short-term, and medium.
Yeah.
Yes, so I think that one was okay. Scheduling queues is defined as, now, scheduling queue refers to as queues of computer information. How? Scheduling queues refers to queues of computer information. It cannot be that. This scheduling queue is the queue of devices or processes that we have. So scheduling queues refers to queues of processes or devices. So that was the correct answer, because we are looking at now, how will you arrange processes when you are doing some execution, or how will you do some process executions when you're using them. So that is why we are saying it is mostly used in process and devices that we have. Which device should I use in order for me to execute? Following an algorithm used in memory management, I think that one, we have covered that. We have said that is the scan algorithm. So that one was okay, and that's why I was saying it was a repetition. But if it was a repetition, you are still supposed to answer the same way you have answered here. So that one was okay, and that's why maybe Kimathi, I gave you 10 for that. show the correct list of process state during the program. So now, can you see that now this is the process state, but we had the process model. So one, we start from NAR, maybe new, ready, running, blocked, exit. But now if you look at this as new NAR, you cannot start from new, then you go to NAR. NAR new, that is okay. Ready, ready. Then we cannot move from ready, we go to blocked. We have to run the process. Then we block. New, ready, yes, exit. How can you exit a process? Then you block it after exiting that process. So now new, ready, running, block, exit. That was the step that was supposed to be used. I think this was okay. Mr. Subua was asked to provide an advice on the best operating system to use in a computer, in a company that requires more processing of data and provision of high security in files locally and remotely. Which operating system did he suggest for the company to use? So OS2, this was an old operating system. DOS, an old one. Windows, we always have issues with the security. So Linux was the best in terms of security. Then the main objective of an operating system are to do the following except. Yes, one is to create abstraction. The next one is, this is a characteristic. Ability to evolve, this is a characteristic. So to provide data, this is an objective, sorry. It is still an objective. But this is what you call multi-programming. So main objective of operations are to do the following except. This one is a characteristic because when you say it is able to provide multi-programming, pipelining, multi-threading, and many others that we always have. So we can say this is part of what you call characteristics of an operating system, but it is not an objective of an operating system. So in this case, we had create abstraction, ability to evolve, provide efficiency. Those are the main objectives of an operating system. Then, which process management algorithm is more efficient and use less waiting time during process execution? Now, we are talking about process management. So this is a memory. This is a device management. This is a process management. So we can work with this. Shortest is still a process and fast come. So already we have done away with this because that is a device. So we are left with this and this. Now, if we can be able to take less time in the execution, the only algorithm that we can use is when we take the shortest job first, we execute them, then after that we execute those longer jobs that are supposed to be used in the execution. So this becomes the best algorithm that you should use in the execution. Because first of all, we are using the short time or short process in execution. Then after that, we can do that. So I think that is okay. The following are attributes of our file. We have file name, yes. We have file handle. There is not a file, there is not an attribute. There is mostly used in programming to create a container for programs that you have on files. File type, file size, file locations, file naming of which it is there. We have file size, file type, file name, file locations, which is supposed to be given within the operating system. Then the next one that we have is the following are categories of an operating systems except categories. There are types, there are categories, and there are examples. Now, if you look at categories, one, we are looking at Unix operating system, mobile operating system, and Windows operating system. Because distributed operating system, this is a type. It is a type of an operating system. So you need to know examples of an operating systems, types of operating systems, and categories of operating systems. So when you refer to examples, you refer to a category. If it is Windows, which are examples of Windows? If it is mobile operating system, which are examples of mobile operating system? If it is Unix, the one that we call Linux, which are the categories of that? So that is why we are referring to that. So virtual memory can be defined as, a virtual memory is a technique to break memory into physical pieces where each piece represents a group of related information. Now, that is very wrong because it is not related information. Virtual memory is a technique that allows the execution of processes which are not completely available in the memory. So this is the answer, because when you use virtual memory, we are referring virtual memory as part of that memory that we are having in the executions. When we are trying to execute a process using the operating system, it was not able to be withheld within the execution. So in that case, we're trying to say, let us first of all execute these processes, then the others we can maybe take them in the virtual memory. So that's why we are saying this is the answer that we are supposed. So where we had an information becomes the wrong statement. So virtual memory is a technique that allows the execution of processes which are not completely available in the memory. Where are they? So these ones are somewhere. These are now somewhere on a secondary storage. That's why we are storing them there. That one, I think we answered that. The following are conditions that leads to a network. Yes, this is a strategy. So that's why it is the correct answer, because it is a strategy. We have prevention, avoidance, and detection as a strategy that can be used in process executions. The following answer composes the function of an operating system. So I think this one was new, was okay, except what? It reduces the memory size. That is not the purpose of it. It cannot be used to reduce the memory size. That one cannot be used as an answer. So that is the wrong answer. So data can be defined as raw fact or figures, which is meaningful to user. Data cannot be meaningful. So the answer was false. Data is not meaningful. Data is meaningless to the users. You cannot use it to make decisions. You cannot use it to maybe to interpret something or maybe to explain something on that. What is the correct definition of a shell? That is the primary interface between the users and the operating system. Primary interface between the users and the operating system. That is now the one that we are saying corn shell, born again shell, that allows you to do some executions using an operating system, So that is what we were supposed to answer, so that you can get all the marks that you are supposed to get maybe after answering all the questions. Do you have any question? Anybody with a question concerning that? Anybody with a question concerning that? Yes? No. So, is it okay now? Have I answered some questions that you are supposed to answer?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, so maybe I can get some clarification on your side, because we need now to look at what we are supposed to respond from that. Anything that you are not understanding in whatever we covered, maybe you can tell me so that now maybe we can try to rectify that. So anything that we are not understanding, maybe Joshua, we can start with Joshua, maybe then Kimathi. And I still wonder whether other students, they attend other classes. Do they attend other classes? Yes, Joshua? Do they attend classes?
Some of them attend, some don't attend.
What is the issue? Have they communicated to you? Because now we need to get why. We need to know why they are not attending classes. Now I have completed the syllabus. There are some that I have never even seen in class. There was this class rep of mine. Has they ever attended the class?
No, you only say that the network is not good where he is.
Ako nyumbani.
Like talk.
Yeah.
But
So
now, what will be the case? Because now, remember you are supposed to do your exams then maybe when we come back, we cannot repeat it back. We will be doing revision. Can you see that?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, because we cannot repeat. It's the same way that if I am in class, it's the same way. Because when I'm in class, you see me. I can, that's why I've switched on the video, because
Yeah.
you can see me now. Is that
Yes.
okay? It's
Yeah.
the same. It's the same. The only thing that we can't see is maybe where I am, or maybe we cannot see face to face, but it's the same way. Then there were two ladies. There were two ladies. I've never seen any lady. I've only seen one lady. Then huyo mwingine akapotea. I think that is alikuwa anaitwa nani? Joshua, I think we were in the same class wakati nilikuwa namfunza, si ndio? Salama?
Sumaya.
Yeah?
Suma.
Alienda wapi?
Hakutua, nisema anangoja corona iishi ndio arudi class.
Sasa atarudi lini? Unajua corona ikiisha, si saa hizi shule zitafunguliwa. Zikifunguliwa, hatuwezi rudi nyuma. We have to move forward. Yes, we have to move forward. And when we move forward, it means that we are not supposed to start from where we left when corona was not there. We were supposed to start from where we left. And I can see only two students that I know, they're in my class. That is only two, you and Rarama. Now, Sinona, that is the problem now. Please, can you tell them to make sure that even though they have not attended my classes, and the issue is the network. I know issue is the network, but at least if they can find 1 or 2 days, if you come for one class, like now the time that you are attending classes, just once, it will become easier for you to understand what we are supposed to understand. Okay. I can see my Zoom is running out of time, and it can end at any time because we are supposed to use 40 minutes. Then after that, we will still come back because it can restart again. So anything that we need to maybe to look at it, maybe we have some issues. Anything that we have issues, maybe we can look at it. Kimathi, do you have any issue? Maybe where we can look at it? According to you, not according to Joshua. Which topic has an issue? Or which method do you want us to use when you're doing some revisions before we resume back?
We should use past papers.
We should use past papers. Now,
yeah.
these past papers, do you have them?
Me, I don't have any for me.
Hey, na nilitumana hizo papers. Hakuna mtu ako nazo. Joshua, do you have them?
Yeah, I have some.
You have some. So what you'll do, if you have a WhatsApp message, WhatsApp, Sidio?
Yes.
Then for the sake of Kimathi, I think I need to go to town because my papers are at town. I did not come with them. So what I'll do, maybe I look for a day that I can go for them. Then after that, I screenshot, then I post via WhatsApp. Then from there, we can be revising from the WhatsApp side. Not WhatsApp, sorry. Maybe Zoom or maybe Big Blue Button. Remember, the Big Blue Button is not currently used. And that's why we have decided to use other methods that we are using currently, which is not within the site. So I think what we'll do, maybe we can try. Maybe we can try and maybe use that method first. And then after that, maybe we can try to make sure that everything that we'll be doing, it will be okay. So I think for now, I would suggest, maybe if you have an issue on a specific question that we have, maybe you can raise it at this point. And then after that, we can continue with our revision that we are supposed to continue with. Or maybe can we decide, you write all the problems that we have, then after writing out all the problems that we have, then after that, maybe you can post them on WhatsApp, then on Wednesday, we can go directly to those questions. So what is your suggestion? Yeah. We end our class at this time, you look at the questions that are there that has an issue from topic 1 to the rest, or can we write them at this time?
Yeah, I think you should give us time to look where we are not good.
Or you have a problem, eh? That is okay. Joshua, do you have an issue? Yes?
Maybe you can repeat device management.
The device management. So yeah. About Rarama, you are saying something?
I was telling you that you should give me time to look where I'm not good, where I didn't understand well, then I'll just tell you.
Okay. So I'll still give you time. Yeah. So I think, Albert, you have an issue on device management. Yeah. Can you wait for Rarama maybe to give us his comment? Maybe next week we start device management next week.
Yes, no problem.
Yes, because I can see still the time is going for this Zoom. I don't want to switch to another mode. So when you look at device management, what we expect is now the importance of the device management. What is the function of an operating system in device management? Mostly, the main function is always to keep track of all devices, to make sure that devices are used the way they are supposed to be used. So you are keeping track of all devices that are used within the executions. Then you are assigning devices. Mostly, what you look at is assembling and deassembling, making sure that devices are allocated. So allocation on devices and the allocation of devices to process, keeping track of the processes, etc. Because when you're using a keyboard, you must keep track of which devices, of which process is using that device. Maybe when a device is being used, you must always look at what are we supposed to use with that device. Is it supposed to be used as an input? Is it supposed to be used as an output? Is it supposed to be used as any other way of execution? So that's why we say operating system has a lot to do, mostly keeping track of the all devices, making sure that it can activate and deactivate all the devices, that is allocation and deallocation of devices. So that is why we said we need to look at the algorithms that you can use in order to make sure that whatever has to be used, it is within the stipulated time. That's why we talked about different algorithms. And one of the devices that we used is the disk operating system. Like now we talked about the hard disk, and we said that this hard disk is the one that will be able to look at now the execution of these processes. So we can be able to understand that most of these algorithms that you are supposed to use in the executions, they are able to assist in program executions. So when I'm using a keyboard, how should I allocate processes in a given disk? So remember we said we have tracks and sectors. So these tracks and sectors that you are supposed to have, how will you allocate a process there? So we need to use those algorithms. And one of the algorithms we said we use first come, first serve, scan algorithm, C-scan algorithm, look algorithm, and many other that we decided, and we came up with a conclusion of that. So I think I can repeat that because I know Rarama was not there that time that you are doing with those devices. So what I'll do, I don't want to start device algorithm at this time. I'll be able to start next week. So immediately we start our class next week, we will start from those algorithms. We try to work with different algorithms that you have. And our main aim was to make sure that the devices that we are using, they are able to work within the stipulated time. So meaning that if you are trying to use a specific device, if you are trying to use a device in the execution, are we looking at the seek time? Are we looking at the latency delay? Are we looking at the mean time to failure? So if you look at the seek time, the time that you wait maybe, or the time that you use to access a certain sector or track, that is the time that you are supposed to look at. Latency delay may be the time that you take maybe to respond to a certain event at a given point. So that is what we need to look at as a concern, mostly when you're looking at those device management. So Josh, I think we can start from device management. That is next week, if you allow us.
Okay.
Yes, so I think we can start. Do you have any issue on files maybe? Is it only device management?
No, files also, and then in process management,
Yes.
the part of round robin and
Okay.
round robin and yeah.
So mostly the algorithms,
Yeah.
when you're calculating the waiting time. So what I'll do, I'll be able to go to that topic. Then I want us to combine with that for Arama so that we can be in the same page. I'll not be leaving you out of what we are supposed to look at, because I want us to combine everything at the same time. So please, can you tell your friends, it's good to attend class, even if they have an issue of the internet. I think you cannot have issues from day one up to the end, because there are those people I have never seen in class. And we expect them to do the exam. So the moment you are doing the exam, what will you say? You have not covered, and we have been attending classes. Some people have been attending